can't do it, Mom. I just can't do it.
Annie.
Will I ever see you again?
What does your heart tell you?
I hope so. Yes. I guess.
Then we will see each other again.
I will come back and free you, Mom. I promise.
Now, be brave and don't look back. Don't look back.
Welcome, Masters and Padawans, to episode 624 of Full of Sith. It's me, your host, Bryan Young. And with me, as ever, the redoubtable, the as drowning in work as I am, Holly Frey.
Sure. Drowning in work in a sea made by my own poor judgment.
Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah, I feel that. I feel that acutely.
Every time I'm like, yeah, I got it. I'm in a flow now. I can keep up with my weekly workload. And then I'm like, you know what? I could take on one more thing. And then 5 things later, I'm like, I'm freaking out. I know, it's my own fault. It's always my own fault.
My thing is I'm always like, I can finish this thing and then take on something else, and then two things come my way. And then I finish one more thing, and then two more things come my way.
I mean, it's a good hex to have,
Yeah,
but it is a hex just the same.
it is. It really is. Um, but one thing on our plate that we really love is Full of Sith.
True.
And today, as we record, even though it'll be a couple days before you listen to this, but as we record, it's International Women's Day.
It's Intergalactic Women's Day.
Intergalactic Women's Day. So we thought we would talk about our favorite women in Star Wars.
Yeah, with the caveat, which I put in place, that we couldn't, like Bryan and I would pick some of our favorite women in Star Wars, but we could not include Leia, Padme, or Rey. Not that they're not wonderful, obviously,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
they're
I
the
think
obvious choices.
I think Leia, Padme, and Rey have enough about them that we would do individual episodes and have done
Yeah.
individual episodes about them over the years.
Hmm.
So not putting them on this list is not a uh, any slight against them. It's just we've given them lots of attention over the years. Not to say we don't want to give them more attention now, or that we won't give them attention in the future.
Yeah. No
We just,
slight intended.
yeah, we just want to talk about other women in Star Wars.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I feel like we should caveat all of it that like this is a an episode with a finite amount of time to it. So there will be characters that we don't include that are also deserving of merit and discussion. But just, for the sake of today,
Yeah.
we'll have a finite list.
Well, and it's funny too because we were like, we'll come up with a list of 5 each, and my list has 10 people on it, and I'm sure your list has at least 10 people on it.
Yes. I
Uh,
gave myself a secondary rule to
uh-huh.
try to help with that, which is that and it's a little fuzzy because there are so many crossover instances of characters at this point, but that a character, like I tried, it's not a hard and fast rule, but I tried not to pick two women from like the same title.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that helped me pare down a little bit ish, but
I mean, I didn't even think about that, but mine fit those rules anyway,
Great.
which is which is interesting. I mean, sort of.
I do have one cheater, but we'll get to it.
Um, I mean, like, there's definitely a couple I picked that are like in, yeah, like they're in four different things. So, um, but why don't you start? Why don't you pick one and we'll start there.
I figured I'm gonna get my most obvious ones just taken care of out of the gate.
Hmm.
My first pick of one of my favorite lady characters of Star Wars is Cabe.
I figured that was coming.
Yeah. Listen, she's I feel great kinship with Cabe. There's a reason that my cantina is named for her. Listen, she's short, she's a little gothy, she's got an overbite. She likes to drink in dive bars. So I'm she's me in the Star Wars universe. I love her. I still one of my favorite things about her is that as the troopers enter the cantina and start walking around, she's still chugging. She's missing her mouth, but she's still going for it. I love Cabe. That's all I need.
You know, it's interesting. Cabe is one of those characters that you notice pretty quickly when you're watching Star Wars because there's just she kind of demands attention right from the
She's unique.
get-go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I'm actually wondering, like, when did you? I mean, Cabe is obviously a character that's been important to you for a long time, but do you remember like when Cabe like jumped out at you as like, no, I'm staking at least some portion of my personality on Cabe?
um excuse me. You made me laugh. I loved Cabe from the time I was a kid, just based flatly on character design, right? Like it's a little bat person. We didn't know she was a she at that point. We just knew she was adorable. And then when the book Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina came out and you find out about Cabe is a drinker sometimes to a problematic degree. And just, her little personality kind of comes out a bit more. And then it has come out in other things as well, right? As we've done like from a certain point of view and whatnot. So I just everything additional that I learned about Cabe just endears her to me more, even though like Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina is not canon anymore in my heart. I mean, she clearly does love to drink. We have it on screen. So, um, I think she's precious.
Yeah. No, I mean Cabe is one of those great characters, and I love every little bit of info we get about her, and I've really enjoyed all of my times drinking in her oasis.
She's happy to have you anytime.
Well, you know, maybe next year.
Maybe this year,
Well,
depending on
I
timing.
well, I heard you're not going to be in town when I'm going to be in town.
Well, but you get here, I think, earlier than I will fly out.
Oh, well, maybe.
So I think we might have a night or two of overlap where we can schedule something.
So, for my first pick, I figure I'll get it out of the way first because I'm certain she's probably on your list somewhere. And this is definitely one of those characters that appears in a number of different things.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm gonna go with Mon Mothma.
Oh yeah. I didn't put her on my list because I suspected you would probably put her on yours. Wow, she's great though. Why? I mean, there are obvious reasons that everyone will have in
Yeah.
mind immediately, but why was she your pick?
Mon Mothma is just one of those characters that really exemplifies um grace and poise. And she was a character that even as a kid, like Return of the Jedi really imprinted on me as a kid. And she sort of really exemplified what a graceful, powerful leader of people was. Even, I mean, like Carolyn Blakiston's performance, even in those few minutes we have of her, it's probably not even a few minutes in Return of the Jedi, um, were really impactful. And
Yeah.
I think she was impactful for a lot of people. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Genevieve O'Reilly's performance impacting people more now, right? Like
Yeah.
she was a character that really punched people in the face in Return of the Jedi with how she held herself as being in command of this rebellion. And seeing how that's unfolded in Rebels, in Andor, in even the deleted scenes in the prequels, in moments in Rogue One, in Mask of Fear, like in books and things,
Uh-huh.
watching her struggle to fight against the authoritarianism of Palpatine while working from within the system and trying so hard to change it from within the system and realizing at a certain point that it has to break and it has to be taken down from a different direction from the rebellion, um, and trying both ways at the same time, and then watching her breaking point with the Gorman massacre is just really, really beautiful storytelling. But watching it portrayed and watching her actually go through it is really powerful, and she is the epitome of strength on screen. And she was a template for uh, Leia, and she was a colleague of Padme, and seeing her even in other books, right, where we get her in Chuck Wendig's books and things like that, where she's establishing the pattern of the New Republic, and um, she's really one of the most influential voices in Star Wars and how the universe works from Old Republic to Empire to New Republic that maybe doesn't get as much credit for that as maybe we think.
Yeah, I think that's all beautifully put. I mean, she is such a commanding presence. And one of the things that I remember when we were doing interviews during the press for season 2, and I had gotten to speak with her and Tony Gilroy, and one of the questions I asked was what Mon Mothma's greatest strength and her greatest weakness was. And one thing that Tony Gilroy said really, really was made me think about the character, or about when I watch the character now. I feel like there is a very clear delineation of when she does realize that working from the inside no longer works. Because he said her greatest weakness has always been that she's never been shot at. Like she's never actually had to be like part of a real fight that is not about just oration and having
Yeah.
debate. And it is that moment where she is truly in peril after her big speech. It's a subtle shift in the way she comports herself, behaves, because she retains her incredible elegance, her you know always poised persona, even when we see her in her more casual moments later. But you do see that subtle shift of like she has taken on just that modicum of grit that makes her that much more powerful. And I really, really love that character arc.
I love the moment where she's coming out and Cassian's asking her about the driver and is
Hmm.
he going to help, and she's like, no, he's an ISB plant. And Cassian's like, okay, what's his name? And she gives the name, and he just shoots him, and she's just horrified. And that moment is a major turning point for her,
Yeah.
where she really understands in that horror of this person that she's like, this guy works against me, but he works for me. And the mask I wear is being cordial to him.
Hmm.
And I've given Cassian this information, and did he just shoot him?
Yeah.
Like like she almost didn't understand what she was really doing until that moment.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
The writing in that show is so good, and her arc is so, oh, it's
Yeah.
perfection. It's like a symphony. It's so good.
Yeah, no, George Lucas casting Genevieve O'Reilly was one of the greatest gifts he could have ever given us.
100%. 100%.
Who's next on your list?
Okay, we're still in obvious mode. I mean, it's got to be Wani, right? You understand. It has to be.
I figured this was coming.
I mean, she's my space BFF. I love her. I love her. But also, this is more from a not within story, although I love her story and I find it very sweet. Um, but from a sheer achievement, Wani is a marvel.
Oh yeah. No, I the first time I walked aboard the Star Cruiser and had a Rhodian walking up to me speaking in Rhodian and
Well, she
interacting with
speaks
me.
Huttese on
Or
the ship.
Huttese, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, speaking as a Rhodian,
Hmm.
right, with the articulated mouth snout.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Um, I was
It's
not prepared for
incredible.
that,
No, I
right?
was prepared and I was not prepared. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you had warning about like what was going to happen. Like when I went on the Star Cruiser, it was like that first press cruise, and they'd not released anything.
well, we knew there was a Rhodian on the ship already.
But like,
But they hadn't promoted her in the press. The way we knew, because I think I was maybe one of the first people that noticed it, because of course I glommed onto it. In the Star Cruiser app that you had to download, or it's like within the Play Disney Parks, like the module that you got access to once you had a booking. So several weeks beforehand, you had access to that information. There is one line, like you really have to be like a dork like me that pores over all of the information like it's a new visual encyclopedia. And there is a one line mention with her name misspelled, I will add, of like Gaia has a Rhodian musician that travels with her named Wani. And I was like, what? What? We didn't know that Wani was a woman at that point. We just knew there was a Rhodian. And I was like, what? What do you mean? There's gonna be a rodeo on the ship? Like I lost my mind. And then so I knew. And then I didn't go on the press cruise. I didn't go for I think 3 weeks after it had opened. So I had seen lots of people posting pictures, posting
well,
video.
and I mean, I sent you some maybe from that cruise going like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Holly, you're gonna lose your mind."
people had been sending me stuff. And even so, I was not prepared.
But like for me, like even if I knew, I don't think I knew there was a Rhodian on the ship. But even if I knew, like in my head, I didn't think, oh, it's gonna talk to me and interact
Right.
with me and
Right.
be able to have back and forth,
Yeah.
right? Um, and I don't know, like I'm still just mad that they closed the Star Cruiser.
I mean, same, but yeah, I feel like Wani was the fulfillment of a lot of promises that we had that were made on the part of Disney when like Galaxy's Edge got announced, right? It had always been intimated that there would be aliens walking around and, that the outpost would be populated with different creatures, and we didn't get that until we were on Star Cruiser. And I mean, so we know it can be done, and it was amazing. Like it was brain-breakingly amazing.
Yeah,
And,
no,
and
it really
I
was.
have I ever told you the first thing I said when I saw her?
You might have.
Because we were sitting in Sublight Lounge, which is of course where I gunned it to, and she came
You went
in.
straight to the bar? Never.
I know, right? So unpredictable. She came in and like we were sitting the way we were, my table, which I will call it forever, was like if you went in the bar and to the left, it was like kind of behind you. Like it was that little
Yeah,
alcove
no, I know. I
that you
know
couldn't see out
I
the
know
bar.
the
So
one.
like when she walked in, she first walked toward the bar, so she wasn't facing me. And gasped. Bryan took a picture of my face because I was so aghast. And I literally said, This is the stupidest thing ever. I was like, Bryan, I don't think I could be more excited if Elvis Costello just walked in this bar. And there she was. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then she chattered with me for a long time, and then we chattered a lot over the next 2 years.
Oh, I know. I know.
The way I love Wani. I love Wani. Have I ever told you I'm a little reluctant to tell this story publicly because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, not because there's anything nefarious. I will just say, and I also don't I know the Star Cruiser doesn't exist, but there's part of me that still doesn't want to break any illusions for anybody. But there were multiple actors that would be performing Wani in any given cruise. In parts because it's a lot of stuff to wear and you can't be walking around for 8 hours in it. And the last time that I got on the Star Cruiser, I got the best text. I'm sure I screenshotted it because it was so great. And it just said, "All the Wanis know you're here." And I was like, this is the best message I've ever received in my life.
That's great.
It
No,
was
yeah,
great.
you've told me that before.
It's the best. The best. All the Wanis know you're here.
All the Wanies. If we
Yeah.
titled episodes, that's what this would be
Right.
titled.
I mean, are you kidding? I want that as my epitaph. I want all the Wanis know you're here. Great.
That's
Great.
almost as good as I have friends everywhere.
It is in my heart. I know that probably doesn't have the same meaning for everyone, but
Yeah.
it was very meaningful to me. I loved it so much. But following my rule that I wouldn't pick two ladies from the same thing, that means I can only give Gaia like an honorable mention because Wani got my Star Cruiser vote. And like there were a lot of good women characters on Star Cruiser, right?
Oh
Captain
yeah.
Kevin, amazing. Lenka Mock, amazing. The Saja, like there were a lot of good women characters on that ship.
Yeah. I'm still mad that they closed it.
Me too. Me too. But who's your next pick now that I've waxed rhapsodic?
Shmi Skywalker.
Hmm. Très
So
excellent.
so Shmi Skywalker, I think, is one of the, I mean, most important and vital characters in the whole saga. And I think she's one of the strongest women in the saga. And I think she has one of the most important parts of it, right? Not only is she just Anakin Skywalker's mother, not only does she start the Skywalker saga, but she lives a quiet life with as much dignity as she can, as, in the most horrific circumstances as possible, right?
Yeah.
And the way in which she approaches the fact that she's going to have to give up her son so that he can have his freedom is utterly heartbreaking. And she does it with such bravery and courage and such a strength
Yeah.
to allow him to do it without giving him more of a complex about it.
Right. There's no guilt trip. There's
Yeah.
no
Like
nothing.
there are mothers that would just be like, "Do you really want to leave me behind?"
Uh-huh.
Like that kind of thing. Like that's the kind of thing like my mother would have done.
Same.
Um and she doesn't do any of that. It's like, you can get out of this. You need to go. My job's to stay here. You have to go be a Jedi.
Yeah.
And like that scene wrecks me every time I see it. It's wrecked me from the it didn't even wreck me from the first time I saw it in the movie. Like they showed an extended trailer clip of it in one of those leaking tents at Star Wars Celebration 1,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was in tears then.
Yeah.
Um and Pernilla August just brings this gravitas to it that's so amazing. And she's just terrific. And when it comes around to Attack of the Clones, and again, there's that she's hanging on, right? She's been tortured by Tuscans the entire time. She's been gone from collecting mushrooms on the evaporators. And instead of she has this notion that like her time is running out. She's not focused on any of this revenge or like get these guys or anything. She's focused on her grown-up son,
Uh-huh.
right? Like her comments are on how much her son has changed and how glad she is to see him and how much she loves him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's also one of the things I have two very strong thoughts about Shmi Skywalker. One is that moment where she is having the discussion with Anakin about what he's going to do is that she doesn't actually tell him you have to go do this, you go be a Jedi. She literally gives him the agency and says this is your choice. Like this opportunity, this choice has been put before you. And she's like giving him all of the tools to make it without, as you said, putting any of her own ego into it. It's not about, she's not guilting him. She's literally like, what do you want out of your life? And it's so poignant because that's probably the first time he's been exposed to that as a concept. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He was born into enslavement. He has never seen his mother in any other state other than being enslaved. And she's like, you are at this crossroads where you get to make the choice about your future. And she does it in a way that isn't um it doesn't pressure him. It doesn't, she doesn't give the sense that like, so you better make the right choice. She's just kind of very clearly outlining like you have a choice. You have the gift of choice. And she does it in a way that says, I trust you to make a decision. And it's so lovely.
I get the impression that that's how she treats him at home when they're not under Watto's watchful eye,
Right.
right? Because it's like, oh, you want to make a pod racer. That's, if you want to go do that, great. You want to make a protocol droid? Okay. Like she worries about him. Like she
Right.
worries when he volunteers to enter the race. And they obviously have very deep conversations, right? Like she treats him like an equal, right? She doesn't infantilize him.
No, not at all.
And I think there's evidence of that in Anakin's dialogue when, here he is, this 8, 9-year-old little boy, and he's having this conversation, this deep philosophical conversation with Qui-Gon and Padme and Jar Jar at the dinner table, and he's like, Mom, you say the biggest problem in this universe is that nobody helps each other. And that's how she's couching her frustration in so many words about being caught up in slavery.
Right.
Like she's not saying like, oh, it sucks to be a slave. Her most uh her most forceful critique of that to her son, who's also caught up in that, is that people in the galaxy should help each other more.
Yeah.
She's just a really positive, strong, incredible character in Star Wars, and I love her.
Well, and I'm glad that you mentioned her positivity because I feel like this is the other thing that I wanted to say about her is that Shmi Skywalker is an extraordinary example of someone who takes the cards they were dealt and learns how to find a degree of peace and joy within that. I mean, she is in not a great situation. She is enslaved. She doesn't have the agency that most people would enjoy, but she still, you know, loves her kid, finds a way to give him a safe and loving home as much as she possibly can. Um, she doesn't seem like freaked out at the idea of staying there on Tatooine without him. She's very like, no, my place is here. This is how this is gonna work. And as you said, even when she is in her final moments, she's not like freaking out. She's not panicked. She's like, Anakin, look at you. And she's incredible. She's just an incredible character.
Yeah. No, she's amazing. I don't know. When people slag off Phantom Menace, I'm just like, did you watch that movie?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because because sometimes I don't think they did.
I mean, we have feelings about
Yeah.
I love Phantom Menace, and I don't love it when people want to talk crap about it.
Who's your next one? Because I'm gonna if we keep going on Shmi, I'm just gonna start crying.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to a silly and joyous one.
Okay, I mean all of yours have been that way.
Great. I'm countering you. Uh, Peli Motto.
Okay.
I love
So
her.
what's funny is that like I don't know if I was just intentionally avoiding everything I knew you were gonna put on the list, but like none of yours are on my list.
Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, I tried to pick things that I didn't think you would pick.
Yeah.
Um, Andor got me into a place where I was like, ooh, uh-oh, but we'll talk about it. Here's what I love about Peli, and truthfully love about her, not just that she's like comedy, but like what she represents, right, is a woman working on a planet where we don't see a lot of women. Certainly we don't see a lot of women entrepreneurs. She can hold her own. She's clearly very smart because she sure does know her way around mechanical things
And Jawas.
and Jawas, but that's her private business. I don't need to get all up in that.
I wasn't making a judgment call. You said she knew her way around that stuff. She also knows her way around Jawas. And it doesn't even need to go that way. I mean, she does know her way around Jawas as far as getting parts and things she needs and negotiating with them.
Yeah.
You took it to a weird place.
I mean, well, the phrasing makes it automatically weird. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You say she knows her way around Jawas. That sounds, untoward. In any case, she is clearly multilingual. She can speak with a wide array of species. She hustles like nobody's business. And here's the other thing I really like. Granted, she hustles people, and sometimes she's just hustling people. Like she's literally just, we see her with that Rhodian in season 3 of Mando, where she has been working with the Jawas to basically curb his speeder so that he will come to her and she can charge him a bunch to fix it. But the other thing is that she hustles in terms of connecting people with other people that can help them, right? Like Mrs. F lady, Frog lady. Her first name is Frog, her last name is Lady.
Yeah.
Pelly is the one that's like, I can figure out a way to help you, and she does. You know what I mean? That's not like there's an altruistic element to her, even as much as she is also a hustler. And I just like that. I think she is a surprisingly complex character in that regard. It's easy to read her as kind of like, great, the comedy is here. But she is very interesting, and she does actually have a lot of levels, and I love that about her.
Yeah, no, she's great. I will tell you, the first time she showed up was in um also Fennec Shan's first episode and the episode with Toro Calican.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I kind of felt tonally I wasn't on the wavelength with her yet. And so I was like, I felt like she was out of place. I couldn't find my way around understanding where she fit in the universe. And
Mhm.
as she's grown into the universe, I can't see the universe without her anymore.
Yeah.
And I go back and look at that episode, that first episode with her, which I believe was Dave Filoni's first episode too, wasn't it? or one
I
of them.
think so, but I'm not confident one
Yeah.
way or the other. I'm just not confident in my recollection, not questioning yours.
Um, but no, she's warmed up on me significantly, and I absolutely adore her as a character now. And part of it is the performance. Part of it is just, yeah, some of that joyous silliness that I think Star Wars definitely needs. And Mandalorian needs that. Like, I think she's a good foil for that across Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Some
Yes.
of her best stuff was in Book of Boba Fett.
Agreed.
Um, yeah, like it was just really good stuff. So
Yeah, I love
she
Pelly.
hits me in just the right place now, even going back to that initial stuff that I was a little resistant to. And I find that I wonder how much of Star Wars that I am initially resistant to on first pass are things where I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel quite Star Wars to me. I don't know if I like that. And then I watch it again and go, oh, actually, this is fine because I feel like I was like that on Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah.
We talked about Book of Boba Fett when it was coming out, and I was like, I'm
Yeah.
not sold on this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not. This is not my favorite. And now I look at it and I'm like, oh, I love this. Right? Like, I've had to go through it a bunch because I wrote tons of trading cards for it, and now I'm like, oh, I love this. This is terrific. Um, and not because like, not because of um not because like, oh, you were just forced to go through it. It's like, no, like I actually find it a joy to go through it, and it's part of that overarching story of Boba Fett and Mandalorian and how all that stuff works that like I
Yeah.
just really genuinely like all that stuff the same way now I do Pelimato. And I wonder if that is part of what some folks had happen to them with some Star Wars too, where some people initially resisted it, and maybe if they found they went back to it, they'd like it more on another viewing as well.
Yeah, I mean I always say my same thing of like I like when Star Wars is different flavors. I don't want the same thing over and over. Um it just becomes more interesting to me, but I know that's not how everybody feels. But I do feel like I'm trying to think of anything that I've had where I've been like that doesn't feel like Star Wars to me.
I don't necessarily think it didn't feel like Star Wars. It was just like she felt a little out of place in that episode, like not even in that episode, but just like in the arc of those episodes that we had when we got introduced to her. I was like, Amy Sedaris maybe just didn't work for me. I'm not like a Strangers with Candy fan necessarily. Like I never watched that religiously or anything like that. And so it was
Yeah.
um like I don't know. Like it was just like I wasn't the target audience for her. And the cameo and all that kind of stuff. It was just like, huh, I bet somebody's really interested in this.
Yeah. I just think she's wildly funny and I love Pelly. I really love Pelly.
No, I do too. I don't want you to feel like I'm asking you to defend her like
Oh
that
no
or
no
anything. No, I
no
am. Okay.
no. There's just something about her that is so funny to me. And I mean also feels very Star Warsy to me. But also she feels very Star Wars-y to me and always did. I think because part of what I have always gravitated to in Star Wars is the campier, weirder stuff. You know what I
Y-
mean? Like
yeah. You know
if
what?
Pelly walked into the holiday special, she'd feel completely
That
normal.
that was what I was actually just about to say
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
like she fits into the Mos Eisley that Akmina is the night bartender,
That's
right? Like
correct.
she is that Mos Eisley, and it's taken me a while to like really embrace that version of it. Not because I like just because I wasn't as exposed to that as a kid as maybe other people were. It took me a long time to find it because like I had to be in my late teen years to find the VHS bootleg at the right con
Right.
table to get it. Um, and even then it was like, oh my God, what is this?
It's heaven, is what it is.
Yeah. So like, yeah, no, she fits in that version of it. And when you think about Favreau and Filoni really embracing the holiday special,
Yeah.
she makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
She's Gourmanda, she's Akmina, she's Harvey Korman's millions of parts
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
She's
in that
she's
universe.
exactly in that tradition of kind of loopy doopy Star Wars.
Yeah, which feels like Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, no, I've got you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, who's your next pick?
Clea Markey.
Oh yeah.
She's relatively new, and you know, you said like we're picking from, or you were at least, you set that rule, but like Mon Mothma was really my pick starting from Jedi, so I kind of felt like Clea was different from Andor.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, but Clea is one of those characters that kind of felt like she had this immense presence in season one,
Hmm.
but you weren't quite sure where that was. You weren't quite sure what direction it was heading. And then in season two, she just absolutely took over that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, not to say, I mean, she took over that show in a way that like everybody who was on that show took over that show. Like every one of the cast members who was in season two turned in like a scene stealing performance. They were all busy stealing every scene.
Yeah.
Um, like season two of that of Andor's like a miracle. Like it's a perfect work of art. Um, but Clea Markey is just such an incredible character. She has this amazing stoicism to her, and especially as we went back and we got her like childhood,
Yeah.
where she's just a war orphan that, you know, that Luthen Rael picked up. Like and she adds this dimension of humanity to him
Yeah.
where they tread this very careful balance where it never feels like she's a tool to him. Like he's willing to use her as a tool because she's willing to do that,
Yeah.
but there's a genuine warmth for her on his end.
Yeah. Well, and there are also moments of the reversal of that dynamic.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, oh man, the scene where she pulls the plug at the hospital.
Oh, holy man. I don't think you were ever there for any of them, but last year at a number of cons, I did a panel um that ultimately came to be called Interpreting the Costumes of Andor. And one of the things that like I like to talk about is like really look at it from a design perspective and like what the stories of their clothes are telling us, even though sometimes it's subtle. But one of the things that was unique that I had noticed early on about Cassian was that unlike almost every other character whose design lines, even as their clothes change, they have some pretty clear design lines that stay theirs throughout. Even when like Vel is back on Coruscant, a lot of the way that her clothes drape and hang are similar to things we saw when we met her, not knowing that that was part of her heritage, right? Like there's a visual language for each character that stays consistent. And Cassian is outside of that. His clothing changes a lot because he is a chameleon and he's constantly assuming other identities to survive, like he has since he was a kid. And I had always had a hard time, similarly, with Clea because I'm like, she kind of does the same. Like you thought you had a handle on her clothes and like what her look was, and then when you see her out in her like casual streetwear, it's very different than anything we've seen her in. And then every subsequent outfit, like we see her in all of these different things, she doesn't have one silhouette, one design line. And then, of course, you realize as season two unfolds, I'm like, oh, because she is the exact bookender to Cassian. Like, they have the same visual functionality in that regard, where like both of them are these war orphans trying to survive, and that means assuming guises all the time. Like
Yeah.
they purposely are obfuscating their identity to, stay alive and to do what they need to do. And so it was just a very cool thing that the two of them are the only characters really that I can identify that don't have consistent visual language to their clothing. And I was like, that is the coolest design choice I have ever seen.
I love so much that scene with her and Lonnie Young um
Mm.
taking the bug off of the art piece where she's telling him the story, and you realize she's not telling him the story like the layers of the writing there are so good, but also the layers to her performance where she's telling him the story to calm him down because he's freaking out,
Uh-huh.
but also telling him the story because she knows that she's thinking 3 steps ahead, that when he's asked, he's gonna have to repeat it. And like it's just so good that she's like, I don't it's just like the writing and her specifically as an actress and as a character. Um, it's just really good stuff. Like Clay is one of those characters that are terrific, and I hope that we get to see further adventures of her somehow in some medium or another.
Me too.
And it's funny when I talk to Tony Gilroy, he's like Clea's character in season 2 really grew out of just Elizabeth Dulao just really killing it in season 1, and he's like, you never know what you're gonna get with actors when you cast them, and this was like her first big role just straight out of like acting school.
Drama school. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. She's incredible.
Yeah. No, she really is.
Ooh, I love her so much.
Who's next on your list?
L3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. The big draw for me with L3 is her inherent agency as a completely self-created character. Like that is just a compelling and unique thing to be like, I built myself. What? Um, which of course then extends a little bit to the Falcon. And I really, really, I have sung the virtues of this book many times on the show and basically anywhere anybody asks me about Star Wars books. Last Shot is my very favorite book of all of the Star Wars books that have come out. Um, I was gonna say since, the canon reset, but really ever. Um, I love it so much for a variety of reasons, but I really do like the way that it explores L3's identity and her sense of self, and also why that drives her so strongly to, be an advocate and an agitator for droid rights and this idea of what self-identity is, what self-actualization is, what it is to truly know yourself, which sounds a little bit stupid in some ways, but like I feel like there are a lot of humans walking around that don't truly know themselves, which is the cause of many problems. So she just becomes this very unique, something I had never thought of in the Star Wars universe, right? Everything we knew about droids up to that point is like, they're essentially robots with a lot of personality programmed into them. But the idea that there could be a droid or groups of droids that make themselves and they're they're doing the programming essentially by recalibrating or reconfiguring programming that's available to them. To me, this is just philosophically one of the most interesting ideas I could ever imagine. Um, which is why she's one of my picks.
Yeah, no, L3 has a charm that I don't know how they managed to do it. It's like Pixar with Toy Story movies,
Yeah.
right? Where it's just like, they're never going to make a droid better than that. Like they've exhausted all possible permutations of great droid. I don't know how they're going to do it the same way with Toy Story sequels, right? Like, yeah, I don't know how they're going to top that. Like, why bother? And then lo and behold, it's like, oh, we've got a new droid out now. Like, I don't know if you've seen the trailers for Toy Story 5. I feel the same way. It's like, oh, there's another Toy Story, and it's like, oh man, that concept looks really good, actually. Nuts. Um, because I felt that way every time I hear there's a new Toy Story movie coming out. Um, but L3 is one of those droids that just like is so unique and so great and belongs up there in the pantheon of just great droids.
Yeah.
Um, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge brings such an energy to the character, and the dynamic with Lando is so terrific, especially with Donald Glover. And I don't know, like I really felt terrible about her fate, but have this glimmer of recognition and hope every time I remember that she's sort of part of the Falcon still.
Do you want to know my dorky thing that I do every
What's
time I get on Smuggler's Run?
what do you do?
I I am the weirdo that likes to be the engineer. I know nobody else likes that but me, but I do. But I always lean over to the console and I say, "Hi, L3." I'm sure there are cast members that are like that weird lady's Specs. But I say hi to her every time.
Yeah,
Hi, L3. I love you. It's very silly.
yeah, no, I believe that.
Who's your fourth pick?
Oh man, it's hard because like I've got so many I want to pick, but this one I think is an interesting pick out of the side that nobody's really gonna. I think Marin from
Oh,
the Jedi games.
yeah.
Marin is such a terrific and interesting character, and she goes against type in so many interesting ways, and she's so alone in many ways.
Yeah.
Um, For those of you who aren't familiar with Marin, she's a night sister of Dathomir, who, as a child, a very, very, very young child, survived the utter massacre of Dathomir
Hmm.
at the hands of General Grievous and the
Grievous.
Separatist army, um, and was led to believe by Taron Malicos, a dark Jedi who sort of went mad with the dark side while he was captured there by the brothers of Dathomir, or the Night Brothers, um, that the Jedi had actually perpetrated that genocide. And so she held this against the Jedi for a long time. And when was finally confronted with the truth of that and proof of that through Cal, joined forces with Cal to actually defeat Taron Malicos, and joined with him to defeat the powers of the dark side and the Emperor or the Empire. And Sam Maggs's book is amazing. The book that's set between the two games,
Yeah.
and Marin's journey and sort of like love and love lost in that book is incredible. It's probably the most. Um, I know that Holly, you're not into like books that delve into the romance at all, but I think this is probably the most intense book in that regard. Not because it's romantic, but because it's just like I think hands down it's the most straight up. It's probably the horniest Star Wars book.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
Um, and that's not why I like it. It's just Marin's a really interesting character, and Cal's journey is really interesting, and it's really well written. And we see how Grease loses his arm and decides to retire to Pyloon Saloon, and it's just really great. It's a really great bridge to the next game, and Sam really understands how the game mechanics work, so you feel like you're playing the game as you're reading it, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
so if you're familiar with the game, the book feels like you're playing the game while you're reading. It's a really remarkably written book while Marin is going through this really fascinating journey of self-discovery. Um, it's really great. And I just think she's a great character. And um, I don't know, I think we should look up to characters that have a very rigid view of the world, are able to process proof that their worldview is incorrect, and then pivot to the facts.
Yeah,
I think that's really admirable.
I do too.
Who's your next pick?
Well, this
Or
is
I
the
guess
one.
you're, yeah, I guess this is your last one.
Yeah, this is my one where I was a little bit tricky, but then I fix it. Because really what I wrote was all the women of Vandor. Um, but I decided to select Marva
Okay.
because I love her desperately.
Marva is terrific.
Holy crap, Marva. Um, I mean, in every possible way, she's terrific. I love her as, kind of a slightly grouchy older lady. I love her as a badass scrapper. Like I love the flashback of seeing her rescuing Cassian as a boy. Like I love that to her there is no second of questioning or doubt of her, like what they are going to do when she's with Clem. I love that she's just like, we're not leaving this kid, so let's do this. And just like how pragmatic she is about everything. And of course, her post her posthumous monologue.
Ugh, it's so good. Like
I mean, to
I
me, that is up there with Mon Mothma's. They are on equal footing in terms of like being amazing.
it's not
Um,
only up there with Mon Mothma's, it's up there for me with like Patty Chayefsky's like Howard Beale speech, or like in Network, or Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross,
oh
or
yeah,
like it's up there with some of the great dramas in all of, filmed like entertainment and great drama.
yeah, yeah. She's incredible. I mean, Fiona Shaw is obviously incredible, but I just feel like Marva is written in again, she's a character that feels in many ways like a breath of fresh air. We've never had anybody quite like her in Star Wars, and I feel like we don't have many characters like her anywhere in storytelling. She's such a unique figure and such a beautiful juxtaposition of strength and vulnerability. She comes on so strong, but then like you see all of the softer moments, when she talks about how she's never walked down the square since Clem was hung there.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, incredible, heartbreaking, beautiful. She's spectacular. She's
Yeah.
spectacular.
There's no
Somebody asked
two
me
ways about
recently
that.
that I met, was it a driver? Like, because he had seen my Star Wars suitcases or something, and he asked me what my favorite line in Star Wars was. And I said, well, right now it's the the cut of her. her posthumous speech that we never got, where she says "F the Empire." I'm like, right now, that's like what's keeping me alive, frankly.
Yeah.
She's so amazing. She's so amazing.
Um, that speech is something I seem to share a lot. Like every time I come across it, it's like I think the internet rules for her speech at her funeral on Rick's Road are the same as Tom Holland doing his lip sync battle for Umbrella,
Yeah,
right? Like if you see it,
you
you
got to
have to share
repost
it.
it. That's the rules.
Yeah. Um, because it is so inspiring and it's the same with Nemec's manifesto.
Yes.
Um, I don't know, how did Andor get to be so astonishingly relevant right now?
Oof.
But no, and you're right. Fiona Shaw brings such a humanity to that role. Um, I think it's one of the meatiest, most um, just wonderful things she's done. She's done a ton of great work. She has a body
Yeah.
of incredible work behind her. And it's interesting that she's done a lot of stuff that like people know her for. And it's interesting that I imagine this is going to be one of the things that she's most remembered for.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, in terms of audience, it's huge. That's part of it, right? But also in terms of just the impact and the incredible work that was done on it.
Yeah.
It's so Marva Andor forever. There's a reason I named one of my cats Marva, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I know. There's a reason you run around as one of the sisters of Ferrix or daughters of Ferrix.
Yeah, I'm a believer. I'm in the Daughters of Ferrix as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say Ahsoka, but I realized that that's its own show. Again, just like Rey and Padme and Leia, like it felt like Ahsoka would have to be its own show because there's actually, when you think about it, there's more screen time dedicated to Ahsoka than all of them.
Right.
So I kind of self-selected out of Ahsoka.
Yeah. I thought
Um,
about Ahsoka too, and I was like, nope, for very similar reasons.
and then my replacement also has more screen time than them, but I'm gonna go with her anyway. Um, Harrison Dula.
Oh, yeah.
So Harrison Dula is again one of those characters who she's such a nurturing, caring character that she's the opposite of the damaged war orphan, right?
Yeah.
Um, she has a fraught relationship with her parents. Well, her dad anyway. We're still not exactly sure the what went down with her mom.
Right.
Um, or what happened with her mom or how she lost her mom. But we do know that her relationship with Cham Syndulla is uh, troubled.
Yeah. The
Um,
gentlest way to put it, I think.
yeah, and but she obviously her mom was a much larger influence on her in more ways that mattered. I mean, Cham was obviously an influence on her because she took so much of his independent, rebellious freedom fighting spirit and obviously learned how to be a freedom fighter in ways um, that, I mean, the two of them are a lot alike. Um, but she does it with that gentle hand and that nurturing, as a nurturing person, where there's a reason when Rebels was going on, she got the Space Mom moniker.
Yeah, for sure.
And being able to be a nurturing mother and a freedom fighter is not a character archetype you see very often, right? The mother character often gets a different role in the story.
Yeah.
It's more like the Shmi Skywalker role
Yeah.
or the Marva Andor role, where even Marva, who's like playing the revolutionary, does it from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
Um, but Hera is in the thick of it. She's going on the missions. She's wielding a blaster. She's the best pilot in the galaxy. And hearing Hera come to life through Vanessa Marshall's work, like Vanessa's just like one of the best humans ever, and
Truth.
she imbues Hera into being one of the best Twi'leks ever. Um, Hera's just a really shining example of standing up for what you believe in and not accepting anything less than that like freedom and justice for all ethic.
Yeah.
Um, that like she's also the only person like you don't want to disappoint, right? Like Ezra and all the characters, all the Ghost crew were fine. Like if you disappoint Kanan, that's just a Tuesday, right? But if you disappoint Hera, like there's actual shame to that,
Yeah.
right? Like, um, even for Kanan, right? Like at reading A New Dawn, where Kanan had sort of like noped out of all of that life, right? Like cut himself off from being a Jedi because it was dangerous for him, admittedly. But watching the two of them work together and her sort of slowly inspire him to feel like he could come back to that
Yeah.
is really terrific, and that she brings that best that spirit, that best of people out of them. And even in Spark of Rebellion, that beginning of Rebels, where she coaxes that out of Ezra,
Yeah.
and she's able to bring that out of um, Sabine, right? And she's able to take some of Sabine's worst habits and sort of turn them on their ear. And she does that with Zeb. And she really does kind of bring this family together. Um, and Chopper, like her whole relationship with Chopper, especially as we got to see in Bad Batch, like some of that youth that they
Yeah.
had. Um, it's so like she's just such a wonderful character.
Yeah. She kind of brings the best out of everybody because she sees the best in everybody,
Yeah.
which is really beautiful.
And I've loved even like some of the stuff in Ahsoka with Liz Winstead, like um portraying the character where like they really have like Filoni really has brought that sort of like I'm still a mom and I'm still going to do what I need to. Like the scene where she's taking off from home one and um leaving without permission is
Yeah.
so perfect. It's so Hera. Like there's no translation difference in the character with the writing.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. It's all cohesive. It's all Hera.
Yeah. And getting to play um with Hera in Star Wars Squadrons in that game with her around or reading about her in the Alphabet Squadron books and stuff like that. Like she's been around through other media as well, and it's all been the same. And I don't know, just Hera's a really great a really great character,
Yeah,
and I think she's amazing.
I do too. I think she's marvelous.
I think Vanessa is too, but that's
Concur.
yeah,
Concur. For hooray for the women of Star Wars.
indeed.
And Intergalactic Women's Day, which we're celebrating a couple days late if you're hearing this when it comes out.
Well, Intergalactic and Women's Day is whatever day we decide it is.
Right.
So today's
Well, and
inter
also it being intergalactic, there's the whole time problem of like it's a
yeah,
different time on certain planets than others. So we're gonna say we're right on time for Rhodia.
yeah. I still have a list of 10 others too.
Yeah, we could do this again. We could do
Yeah.
this repeatedly. Happy Mother's Day. Let's make a plan.
We could probably do one of just mothers at that point.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Of course, by that time I will be, it'll be a little before Mother's Day, or it'll be a little, Mother's Day will be a little before that, but I was gonna say by the time Mando and Grogu comes out, we know that there's a Rhodian. Maybe it's a mom. It's unclear if it's a mom or a dad, truly, that scoops their baby out of that carriage. that would go to the top of my list as the best parent, right? Obviously.
Yeah. So, where can people find you, Holly?
Um, I am on Instagram as SirlyGirly5, and I am on Blue Sky as Holly Fry. I am still doing stuff you missed in history class, so you can hear that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. That show also is now on Netflix. If you want to watch us do the show, you can do that. I am also most Friday nights. You can find me on the History Channel on The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd. I'm also on several episodes, I think, of Monster Quest on the History Channel. So you can't escape me really. How about you?
You can find me at swankmatron.com or on social media at swankmatron. Um, if you go to my shop there, you can find all of the new books I've got signed. I've got so much stuff coming out lately. Um, that's probably the best way to keep up with me. I will be in Portland for any listeners in Portland, Oregon. I've got a signing if you're listening to this very quickly, on Thursday night, March 12th at Board Bard Games.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, where I'll be signing books and playing BattleTech with folks.
Nice.
Um, and then, yeah, I just got a ton of BattleTech stuff coming up soon that's coming out, and then more stuff in other worlds. I've got a bunch of Shadowrun stuff coming out soon too, and hopefully some other stuff I'll be able to talk about sooner than that. But yeah, swankmatron.com is the best place to keep up on all of that stuff. As far as Full of Sith goes, you can go to fullofsith.com to listen to the entire back catalog of episodes. And, you can send us an email at holocron@fullofsith.com. Um, oh, there is another thing.
Bum bum
Um,
bum.
I know March 19th through 20 through March 19th through 21st, I'm doing an online virtual writers workshop with Mike Stackpole and an editor from Simon and Schuster.
Nice.
And there's like one-on-one time folks can do. So if you are interested in writing, it's at 22 literary. 22 is the numbers, literary.com/workshop or workshops. It's linked on my website, actually. So if you go to swankmatron.com, um, so you could do that and actually get one-on-one time with me or Stackpole to like critique your work and stuff. I will not be
Incredible.
offended if you just do it all with Stackpole. Um, but Star Wars fans seem to like him. I
What?
know, right? Um, but oh yeah, so for Full of Sith, you can go to email us at holocron@fullofsith.com because we want to hear from you. And be sure to rate and review the show wherever it is you listen to it. So, unless there's anything else I forgot at the last minute, Holly.
That feels comprehensive to me, sir.
Then, so for super producer Mike Pilot and for Holly Fry, I'm Bryan Young, and the Force will be with you always.
Sir, if you'll not be meeting me, I'll close down for a while.